Hello, good evening. Sorry, I'm slightly late, not very long, but a few seconds. Let's have a look who's in. Danny, hello, lovely. Oh, I liked your upload earlier on Israel. I had seen a couple of lives about him before, from different people, but you covered it really well. I'll give you another shout out in a second. Oh, and you're at work as well. No problem, lovely. I did think about you actually earlier because when I watched your upload, and then have you seen that the Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out, and it was the Salem connection, and I was thinking, I wonder if Danny's going to watch that when she comes out, or if you're not as childish as me. But good to see you, honey. Oh, who've we got in as well? Wiccan. Hi, Wiccan. It's Wiccan's birthday today, everybody. So even though she's had a video, she's going to get a song in the chat as well. Hi, Luby Lou. Hi, Simples. Who else have we got? Barbara. Is Barbara in here as well? Hi, Barbara. I can't see you, but I can. Oh, she's probably typed in earlier, hasn't she? Bloody nightmare. Hope you're all well. I'm trying something new tonight. We're not going to mention, incidentally, the castle that Wiccan went and did her ghost hunt at, because whenever I mention that by name, everything cuts out here. So one, we're not mentioning that place, and two, I'm actually streaming from our conservatory, so I'm at the other end of the house. So we'll see if it works. Hi, Sheila. Welcome, welcome. It's all right. You can have capitals on. I don't mind if you want to shout. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. Hope you're all well on this. Well, it's Thursday night here, isn't it, in the UK? So that will be Thursday late morning or early afternoon in America, depending where you are. And it's going to be very early in the morning in Australia. Cassius, hi, and he's wishing Wiccan happy birthday. Well, I'm going to say now, I am being quite sad. Off colour, so because now we've got a television, just got a telly, setting it up in the conservatory, and I realise I can't see the chat in there, so bear with me a second. Oh, as the right, how do you think that's because I kind of just goes, am I doing the hokey cokey simples? Well, I'm sitting on my lounger in the conservatory. I'm not moving. All day I've had my phone and I've been checking it while I've been working. Oh God, gone again. You see, I don't know what else I can do about it, because I thought if it's because he's actually doing a live stream at the moment, and we always find that whenever he's doing his gaming streams, I struggle. But I decided to go to the complete other side of the house today. So I'm like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms apart from him, and he's upstairs. I'll have to ban him from gaming. Well, yeah, I know. Anyway, before I go any further, I think it's time that we sing happy birthday to our lovely Wiccan. rebooted. Yeah, that's right. Symbols, a silent happy birthday. Right, before I get kicked again, I'll have a go. Are we ready? What's Cassie's? It's like the olden days when the rent man would come round. You think the house was haunted, curtains twitching, lights going off. I know. I remember my friends saying that. So they used to always hide behind the sofa when the rent man came knocking. Right. Before I get kicked off, we're going to do a happy birthday for Wiccan. Are we ready? She has already had one privately, but I'll give her a proper one now. Are we ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wiccan. Even though I know your real name. Happy birthday to you. Mwah, 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 mwah. So I'm sorry that you've been a bit poorly, but at least we get to have you. Oh God, who's mentioning Ouija boards here? Don't like Ouija boards, best left. Yeah, he's got a flipping Ouija board, Sheila, to do these ghost stunts. And I said, you don't need to even think about getting it out. Do not need to think about getting that out when I'm around. Oh, Luby Lou, that's so kind of you. I did actually do a mimic of Marilyn for, I think it was for Sid's birthday. I did it in the style of Marilyn. So that's a really big compliment. Which is, by the way, has anybody... Oh, you've used it. Oh, Wiccan, don't you, maniac. Has anybody watched the new Marilyn Monroe movie on Netflix yet? Called Blonde? Hi, Frida. Lovely to see you. We're still just doing our meet and greet, so you haven't missed anything. Marilyn fans haven't been able to get further than 20 minutes into it and are dissing it. But then other people have, you know, and there were always hints of like that she'd been abused, that, you know, she'd been taken advantage of and so on and so forth. And I think, and also that her childhood, I think, was it one of her uncles or something? And this is basically what this story is. It's based on a book about her life. And so I think that these people who are slating it probably went in watching it thinking that it was going to be, you know, the typical bubbly blonde with the, you know, that she had a few issues and she bounced around from different men. I don't think that they expected it to look at her life in the traumatic way that it actually unfolded. So I'm looking forward to watching it, and I'll tell you all. It was awful. I saw another documentary about her a while. Well, it was in film form, and that as well. Although it didn't show it, it kind of intimated that there had been abuse by whether they were film company heads or directors or producers or what have you. You know, and back then, I mean, even into recent times, even now, actually, even today, some people find it incredibly hard to talk about, you know, abuse or being assaulted or used. Or, I mean, look at all the Harvey Weinstein stuff that's only just, you know, relatively recently come out, and that's been going on for donkey's years in the industry. Hi, Sid. Hey up, Kiss and Chatterboxes, and a very happy birthday to the beautiful Wiccan Moon. Oh, I'm going to highlight that for her. What a lovely message, Sid. Yeah, very beautiful, very troubled Janet. She was absolutely stunning. You know, even when she was distraught, she was still beautiful. I mean, I absolutely adore Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, the casting couch, that's it, Wiccan. Oh, you got to go, Luby. Oh, sorry to miss you, sweetheart. But thank you for dropping in, love. It was great to see you, as always. I'm going to say, did I give you a wrench, Luby Lou? Because I can't see if I did or not on my phone. Oh, we've got Lady... Hi, Lady Witch. How are you? You take care, Luby Lou, and we'll see you soon, chicken. So, Wiccan, is it your birthday? Well, happy birthday. It is indeed, Frida, 21. And she doesn't look a day over 18. You're on the Cassius, what are you like? Oh, brilliant, Luby Lou. I couldn't remember if I'd done you or not, and you know exactly what I mean by that. Right, so tonight's live, I know I'd promised the other night that my next one was going to be about hauntings. However, I got kind of sidetracked at night, you know, and I've been listening to things trying to get to sleep, or I've been waking up in the early hours and listening to stuff to try and nod myself back off to sleep. And yeah, simple as I always forget it. And I started thinking about, because I know, was it Simple who wanted to do a live on NDEs a while ago, and we kind of touched on it, but we weren't really talking about it a lot. For anyone who doesn't know, that's near-death experiences. But I think that you've been dully below, okay. I think that personally, that's my opinion only. I personally think that near-death experiences and reincarnation go hand in hand. I think there are some strong links there between the two, and that is just my personal thoughts. So I thought we'll have a little discuss of that. And then, you know, the whole serendipity thing, coincidence, you know, the way things that pan out. And what got me thinking about that was the film Sliding Doors. I watched that a few nights ago. Hadn't seen it for ages. And I thought, do you know what? I just feel like a little bit of light-hearted something. And that came into my watch list. So I watched it again and I forgot what a good film that was. If anybody hasn't, if anyone hasn't seen the film, oh, can you not, Simples? Oh, flipping it! Have a look on. Oh God, what did I watch it on now? It. Do you know what? I think it was on All 4. I'm pretty sure I watched it on All 4. I can't remember now because we've got that many flipping apps on our telly. So we've got Prime and Netflix. I know it definitely wasn't Netflix. And I've got 5 and loads of different things. Hi, Lisa Marie. Oh, lovely to see you, sweetheart. Welcome in. I don't think I can. Good evening, all in chat. Maud's been looking forward to this live. Okay, subject matter just up my street. Brilliant. Well, you're very welcome, Lisa. It's nice to see you in here, sweetheart. Yeah, so if you've not heard of the film, Janet, I'll give you a very, very brief synopsis. It stars Gwyneth Paltrow and, oh God, what's the flipping name? John Hannah. And Gwyneth Paltrow, she basically has one life. And when she's going home this particular day, this life splits. So one version of her life, she catches the train and gets home. And in that life, she catches her boyfriend in bed with another woman. So she goes off and starts a new life. In the other version of her, she misses the train. So she gets home after a fella has been carrying on with this woman and never finds out about her until later on. And it's just how your life can be so different by pure chance. So that's basically what. Stop. Stop. Right. Gosh, it's like running a marathon trying to get from one end of this house to the other. So yeah, so it's a really good film, but it started me thinking about serendipity and you know, the whole thing of coincidences. So I thought, well, it might make a nice it might just make a nice change for something for us to chat about. Because you know, we never ever stick to one topic, do we? We always have at least 3, 4 or more topics to discuss. So I'm going to start with the near-death experiences, and I'll bounce in and out of it, and I'll stop every couple of seconds just to check on the chat, because I'm trying to watch it on this telly in the conservatory, and it's actually quite a small screen, and I'm at the other side. And I'll be honest with you, the conservatory is huge, so I've actually danced on stages that were smaller than this. So so yeah, I'm struggling a little bit because I've not got the main light on as well. I don't want people like looking in from the street behind. So there's a bit of an oddball in the street behind. He's got the most beautiful dog, but he leaves the window open for it, which is fine, but live in a mansion at all. It's just a big old Victorian house, so it's quite roomy. It looks like yeah, I'm really sorry about this. I don't know whether to try and go in another route. Oh, Christ, there's 2 of me now. What's happened there? Oh, and now there's back to one again. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even know why. You know, we're paying for this extra mega bloody all singing, all dancing Wi-Fi, specifically for people who game. So anyway, but I'm not moving. I'm staying fast. So near-death experiences. Well, a while ago, if you remember, and sorry, by the way, if anybody wants the link, just mention it in chat and just ask for it rather than me keep posting it, nobody hitting the link. But if anybody wants to come up, you're very welcome. I'm not going to keep dropping it in the chat just because, as you know, we've had a few knobheads thinking it's funny to kind of disrupt chat being sent over from another channel. So I'll only put it in if somebody indicates that you want to come up, if that's all. I mentioned about my nana. Now, when she had my Uncle John, and he's the youngest of all her children, the last one of her children, actually, she couldn't have any more after him. Oh, gone again. Oh, and I'm back. Bloody hell. So my nana, she was only a tiny little lady. She was 4'11", little Irish leprechaun. My granddad was a huge, 6 foot. I think he was 6'2" or 6'3", Scotsman, huge guy. She managed okay with her other babies up until her last one, and he was a crumper. Now, he was born in the 1950s, and if you think about that time, there were especially working class families. They didn't have two halfpennies to rub together. Plus, they were just coming out of the rationing period. I think was he born in 1952? Oh God, I can't remember. Anyway, he couldn't. They obviously were just eating as they could afford to, but basically, rationing was still going. They were working class. They were a big family. Only my granddad worked because my nan, she picked up piecemeal work. Occasionally she'd do a bit of cleaning or what have you. But she was a housewife. She looked after the house. She looked after the children. And the farmland and whatever else and the animals. So she wasn't out doing a job as such. And it was down to my granddad. So when she had this baby, nobody expected that she was going to, a lady her size, working class, still living on rations, was going to have a baby the size that she did. He was 13 pounds. And she gave birth to him naturally. Now, she'd already lost her first baby. They left her in labour for 48 hours. They didn't offer a cesarean section. I mean, back then, they had to pay for the healthcare. The NHS wasn't in effect then when she had her first child. And that was quite a big baby. Not as big as my Uncle John, but that was quite a big baby. I think it was a 10 and a half pounds. So for a first baby, 48 hours she was left in labour for. And in the end, when she finally managed to deliver the baby, it only lived for 20 minutes and it died. It was in a terrible state of exhaustion. What's that? I watched a docu. This woman's baby was huge. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, £10 a big thing. I mean, even £7 and £8 babies are big. But yeah, I know, Janet, it's £13. And like I said, my nana was teeny weeny. So basically, she gave birth to my Uncle John and started to hemorrhage. So I am going somewhere with this story. So she started hemorrhaging and she lost, and plus she was exhausted. She'd been in labour with him for quite a long time. And again, she wasn't offered a cesarean. God, Morgan was £12. Yeah, the thing is, it's only £1 more, though, Simples, isn't it? It's only £1 more, Shirley, £10, 8 ounce with 2 teeth. Oh my good grief. So yeah, so tired of telling us this story. Now, apparently there was a training midwife there in the room, and this was the first, there'd been they're very lucky because this training midwife hadn't seen any either child or mother fatalities while she was doing a midwifery training. And she had this young mother with 4 children who was basically, had died. She had this newborn baby and she died, and they were fighting and fighting and fighting to try and get her heart going again. And apparently this young midwife, just in hysterics, slapped my nana across the face, going, breathe, live, whatever it was that she screamed. And my nan just took a massive gasp of breath and came back. Now, apparently, she was crying. my nan, and saying, I don't want to come back, I don't want to come back. And even my granddad confirmed this, because he said they were thinking that she'd had like a nightmare while her heart had stopped beating or what have you. And, you know, that don't take it to heart, and it's going to be mixed with the baby blues, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, and she then had to go through the trauma of having a full hysterectomy, because she'd done that much damage to herself with this big baby that they had to give her a hysterectomy. But she was always telling us this story about she didn't want to come back. And my granddad said, he said she was going on about, he said she was not like she'd ever been with any of our other children. You know, women, you do get a bit weepy, you know, your hormones are all over the place. And this is even women who don't get postnatal depression. You just get the baby blues. It's a massive shock to your system. And he'd said, you know, she was different to how she'd been with any of the others. And my nana told me the tale one time, and she said she did see a tunnel, and there was a beautiful, peaceful light, and she just wanted to go towards it. And she said, all I felt was that people were around me. She said I was just filled with love. I didn't, you know, she wasn't seeing people and going, oh, there's me mum, there's me granddad, there's me great uncle. It was none of that. She said it was just feeling enveloped in a warm love. And she said, I knew the people around me, even though, you know, she couldn't have identified people, but she knew there were people around her. But it was just kind of the suggestion of people there rather than seeing physical beings. And she was going along, and she said it was just like floating along towards this lovely, serene, welcoming, warm light. And when the nurse slapped, and she said it was suddenly like whoosh, she was dragged backwards away from it, you know, back into this cold, horrible delivery room in the local cottage hospital. And that was her story. And obviously, as time passed by, and, you know, people would make documentaries about near-death experiences, and it became more common to talk about them, because my nan was very religious, so she didn't believe in the paranormal. You know, she was a real staunch Irish Catholic, did not believe in the paranormal. You didn't go to see a tarot reader. You didn't have your palm read or your tea leaves read or look at a Ouija board or believe in ghosts. It was none of that. She was a real, that's all the bad stuff, you stay away from it. However, this, you couldn't have, if you told her that it depended on her denying that had ever happened to her or being a Catholic, she would have ditched being a Catholic. That's how true it was to her. Let's just have a look, Janet, the similar story to Gran's. Yeah, and I know, Janet, I know. And this was because she was the only one I'd ever heard of as a child, and I didn't know what it was all about. And then obviously started watching things and hearing what people were saying. So I know that my nan, and she didn't tell lies. She would have cut her tongue out rather than lie to anybody. So I know that what she saw was, or what she thinks she saw, was true. No, I know, Cassius, it's funny, isn't it? You couldn't talk about ghosts, didn't exist, and, you know, demons do. You know, she had no doubt that demons and the devil were around, but you couldn't talk about ghosts. It was very, very weird. So, and then the other thing that I did mention as well, I'm sorry, this isn't all going to be about me, because I'm going to open it up in a second to other people, but what I did find really weird, and this is why I'm wondering whether it means your state of mind, or I don't know whether your religious persuasion or your state of mind at the time of death, and I'm going to say death in inverted commas because we're talking about people who come back. I don't know if it's that, or if you've got things on your mind at the time, or however that you pass. This, does that depend, or does that, I don't know, does that steer what you see when you pass over? Because I had one or two of you do know this, I actually died in hospital for I don't know, it's a minute, something like that. It wasn't long. It wasn't like for ages and ages, but my heart stopped and they had to bring me back. I didn't have a single experience. I didn't see a light. I didn't feel God or the devil or anything. So nothing happened to me. Nothing. And I was quite disappointed when I found out, and they said your heart did stop, so you were technically dead. And I was like, I didn't see a light. So, let me just check who's come in. Who's come in? Oh, me Twinny. Hello, everybody. This is Lobster Girl. Got burnt on the beach yesterday. Doe, what a wally. Just popped in to say, howdy, Twinny Andal. Hello, my gorgeous hippie girl. Oh, hang on a minute. You did tell us where you'd gone. Is it Mallorca you've gone to? Anyway, wherever you are, I hope you're having a bloody great time. And if you can't get hold of aloe vera, like Lady Witch has said, get some yogurt on it. That'll sort you out. Oh, gosh, Denny's here as well. Hi. Well. Hello, gorgeous. How are you? Just finished a 9-hour shift. Hi, all in Chatterdy Chat. Oh, it's great to see you, Denny. And it's Wiccan's birthday today. So you've missed us singing a song, but we're just having a little bit of a shizzle chat. Skin very hot and tight. Oh, no. Oh, you're going as well, Wiccan. Oh, bloody hell. I'm going to feel left out now. How are we going to do without you? You'll have to pop in. If Hippie Chick can do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. Bought a tub this morning, revitalizing aloe cream, wanted gel, but couldn't find it. Oh, you're going to, Tenerife. Right, thank you. I knew you were talking about it with Dar, weren't you? And I couldn't remember where you'd said. Bloody brain's like a sieve. It was my birthday present. Oh, I'll pop in, no problem. Absolutely. Oh, and your friend's cruising there, Simples. Oh, lovely. I fancy a cruise, but I fancy doing a fjord cruise. Although Porky doesn't. I'll have to try and talk him into it. So, just while, so where I've got to now. So, I don't know what you guys think. Do you think there's a reason that some people, because if you look at how many people technically die and are brought back, not all of them have any form of an experience. So what do you think? Do you think that we're not all destined to go to a particular place? Do you think that is just the brain's functionality? I don't know. I mean, religious beliefs, like my nan, very, very strong Catholic. So she would think that she would go to heaven when she died. Was that already in her mind? Was it kind of a subconscious thing? Janet, maybe it's to do with chemicals in the brain and some have an experience and some don't. Yeah, well, I was gutted because I didn't. I mean, and do you have to be dead a particular length of time? Does it have to be 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I know the longer the longer that you're dead for, the more chance of suffering permanent issues like brain damage or what have you. And before anybody gets a smart ass, I wasn't gone that long. I've always been this crackers. Oh, hang on a minute. Who's going to Oh, you're going to Alcudia. Oh, my sister goes there, Wiccan. Our Angela always goes to Alcudia and she goes, there's an all-inclusive, quite a nice hotel there that they go to. Lady Witch, I think just because you were dead, it doesn't mean it's your time to go. My last trip to the hospital, I died twice, didn't go anywhere. No, I didn't either. And I was a bit pissed off about that. I'm Roman Catholic, but I think it could be the brain firing. I'd like to think I'm going up the stairs. If you're dead, there's no brain activity. Yeah. Maybe we have been before and we only get to come back so many times. And Sid wants to know, Wiccan, do you work in TV? I could answer that, but I let her do it. In fact, I never went anywhere either. Oh, right. You see, Cassius, it's weird, isn't it? But then you also get some people, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube from people who have died and have seen visions of hell. And now I've heard that is quite common with suicides or attempted suicides. And again, I think, is that because of the frame of mind that these people have been in at the time? You know, they're not in a happy place. And could that be why they, you know, as they die, even though they're not dead, the brain doesn't know that the heart stopped beating or what have you. You know, is this just what they're expecting because they're in such a miserable and sad place? Yeah, Frida, I'd heard that. No, I don't know exactly. I'm not medically trained. I'm not professional, so I don't know. Simples can possibly answer this one as an ex-nurse. Isn't it right that there's brain activity for up to 10 minutes after death? Cassie's, my heart stopped twice, but I didn't experience anything. No, that was like me and Lady Witch, as she's just said as well. Hippie Chicks bought a litre bottle of vodka in duty free, doing some damage to that. So you can still hear Denny. So your hearing is the last to go. But then obviously your brain's still going to be functioning then, isn't it? So if you can still hear something. But then after that, you know, with your brain, does your hearing stop as your brain stops being active? Don't think so. No oxygen, no activity. All right, okie dokie. I don't know. So me too, Wiccan. Freelance Discovery Channel, BBC, etc. Never worked for Sky though. I told that lately hearing. That poor chap who was in a coma for years and could hear his mum cussing him. He woke up and remembered it all. Well, Denny, I'm going to tell you a little something. So oh God, if I ever have to have another surgery, I'll be in here getting you all to like put charms on me and hypnotize the shit out of me, because what happened to me, I was really, really ill. I'd had a ruptured appendix and everything went wrong, and I'd had to have emergency surgery, and I ended up, as you all know, I got post-operative pancreatitis and blah, but it was horrendous. Now, I also got on the back of me, so after I've had all of this, I've had the heart stopping and I've been in ICU, and they managed to sort me out, and then I've got the pancreatitis, and then I got a massive infection at the operation site. It's a huge abscess, internal abscess. So they had to take me down, and I had to have another surgery, and I woke up. They didn't know. And they didn't believe me either, because I think they were just like, oh no, you'd have just thought, until I told them I'd heard exactly the conversation that had been going on in the operating theatre between the members of staff. And it was, now, I wasn't awake for the entire operation, but I was awake enough to feel the fucking scalpel when it went in. Now, I don't know whether the anaesthetist realised that I wasn't completely under, but because when I could hear them talking, I was doing everything I could to move a thing. I was trying to move something or open my eyes just to let them know I'm not actually fucking asleep, because it was literally like I wasn't drowsy or anything. It was just like I was lying there with my eyes shut, but I couldn't move. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. The last time I had to have a minor op, it's because I'd smashed all my face, and I've got well, I did have metal plates in my face. They had to reconstruct, not riding accident, I had to reconstruct my face on the left-hand side, and I had to have the plates removed. And I was a basket case. And I just remember being in the hospital, and the surgeon came to see me with the anaesthetist, and I was just a gibbering wreck. I broke my heart telling him what had happened, and they were saying, we didn't know any of this. We'll make sure that we put you completely under. And they did. Oh, look, I wonder who's sending the adult dating site stuff in. How funny. There's only one area of YouTube that we find, and the funny thing is they're not even being discussed in here, but we know exactly where they're coming from. So I can't get shut of them on my phone. So could somebody give them a block, please? Right, let me just go back to the chat. Gosh, I've missed a load here. Sorry about this, guys and gals. Bloody hell, I don't know what the heck's happened here with all of this chat. That's like a certain someone forgetting they were moving on. Yeah, apparently your brain is lost into die. Gosh, I've read all of these. Oh my goodness. Oh, Hippie Chick wants to know how Nancy's doing. Okay, what area? Hair and makeup production. Oh, you're talking about your work in the field of television, darling. Danny, awful her Cassius. She was saying she wished he would just pass. Felt well bad for him. Oh, that's a horrible thing to do. Hippie Chick, Nancy's doing great, possibly home next week. Still we need care, but at least she'll be home. Oh, Wiccan, fucking hell case. I know, Wiccan. The worst thing I've ever been through. It's fucking awful. Hey Frida, hope you're well, lovely lady. I am so behind in the chat. Sorry, guys. Wiccan said, I'm so happy to hear that. Sheila, good God, what a nightmare. Denny, glad to hear Nancy's coming home. Wiccan said, you are kidding me. The same thing happened to you. The waking up. Oh, fuck me. I mean, I have heard some stories I heard about a woman who did the same thing when she was having a cesarean, and only she didn't go under like me. I felt the first cut and then I went. Now, I don't know whether I passed out in my head, or I just don't know, or whether it was the anaesthetist, but this poor lady went through an entire cesarean and felt everything. And I thought, oh my God. So there is always somebody worse off than yourself. Sid, bless her. I hope she gets home. It's miserable being in hospital. That's from Frida. Oh, and to your mum. Oh my goodness, Wiccan. That's the worst fear, not being able to move, being away. Cassius, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. I can just remember because I was thinking, while I'm panicking this badly, will my heart rate not go up? Will they think there's something really wrong? Blah, blah, blah. It was just because my brain was completely there. Oh, hi, Paula. It happened to me when they operated on my kidney. Worse again. Oh, you were kidding. Oh, my God, Paula. So Paula and Wiccan, you can verify what I'm saying here. Because the thing is, I actually was, when they initially put the cannula in my arm, you know, they put the cannula in and then they put the gas mask over your face. I did go unconscious, but then I woke up and I was lying in the fucking operating theatre. I could feel him slopping on whatever it was. I don't know. Is it whatever they put on you to sterilise your stomach? Iodine or betadine or whatever it is. I could feel him putting that over around the operation site. Awful. Paula, oh God, I had a tiny camera through my kidneys and got a stent put in. It was horrible. Oh, was that what you were awake for, Wiccan Moon? Oh, frig. Well, so much for me saying this was going to be about serendipity and everything. Paula, oh gosh, yes, your body is paralyzed, but you feel everything and can't do anything. Did they believe you, Paula? Because they did not believe me. I came round I was in recovery and I was in fucking hysterics. I was shaking as well. I had the uncontrollable shakes and they were saying, oh, this will be because of the gas. And I think it was because I was in shock. And I just started to scream. I meant to just say, I need to speak to a doctor. And I can remember doing it, just screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. And then the nurses were coming in. And then I was trying to get it out to say I was awake. And then a doctor had come in. No, sorry, it was the I keep getting it wrong. The anaesthetist had come in because I think they were concerned that I'd had a reaction to the gas because I was bitterly cold and I was shaking. And then when I was saying, he was going, no, you wouldn't, no, you wouldn't, no, you wouldn't. And then I said, I heard the entire conversation. This is after I've calmed down slightly. I heard the entire conversation. I heard somebody in that operating theatre talking about the Saints and Wigan rugby match. And he went quiet. He went completely quiet and I carried on talking and telling him the things that I'd heard. And I said, and I was trying to scream and nobody could hear me. But then I went under and his face, and he went out and then the registrar came in and then he was sitting holding my hand. And then, oh, I'll tell you, I had so many visits to my bedside from the hospital admin. I think they were bothered in case I was going to sue them. I wasn't. I just wanted to go fucking home. Sheila, you had the shakes. That was so weird. Like you say, you can't stop it. It's a thing that happens apparently. Oh gosh, yeah, it's awful. It was awful. I was in no control whatsoever, Paula. They did. Halfway through, the anaesthetist realised and topped me up. They were so apologetic. I bet they bloody were. You see, I think he realised. I think he realised with me as well, because, like I said, I felt the scalpel go in. And it was the awfulest. It was like a burning, but worse than burning. I could just imagine putting fire and sliding a burning rod across my stomach. That's what it felt like. So, but yeah, I described it. I described the conversation. I can still to this day remember what they were talking about. Then they believed me. Hibichuk, I felt like rummaging. Oh gosh, someone doing the washing up inside my stomach. Very steamy sensation, not painful though. Oh gosh. Oh, Wiccan, God love you. As soon as I came round, I was crying my eyes. I couldn't cry. I was just screaming. I was still obviously woozy, but yeah, I was just screaming like a frigging banshee. See, now look at that. How many of us are here in chat? Well, it says 15. Some of those are hate watchers. But how many of us, what have we got? 10, 12 people in the chat. And out of all of that, there's Wiccan and Wiccan's mum, Paula, and myself. You know, that. What are the odds of that? That's a really high percentage. So it obviously happens more than people think. So, I mean, maybe if at that point I'd have died under the anaesthetic, maybe I would have had some form of an experience because my, yes, Sid, yeah, it is. Is there? The betting man, he's put the odds in for us. But basically, it's a third of the chat, isn't it? Wickamino Peanut Gallery. So, we'll go on to, unless does anybody else want to discuss stuff like that? Or, oh, hang on, Paula. When my son was 5, he had an op on his bowels and felt everything. It broke my, oh no. Oh no. Oh God, Paula. I mean, it's bad enough for anybody, but for a little, oh no, that's awful. Lady Witches, that's why I insist on not being put fully under so I can communicate somehow. Sid, it's scary as fuck when you look at it like that. It absolutely is, Sid. It really is. Frida, I remember feeling the scalpel going in for my apesia. Oh, God, Frida. Oh, yuck. Oh, yeah, it just doesn't, you think, though, that out of everything that you're going to be, you're going to be safe and everything's going to go well for a surgery. And the last surgery I had was on my knee. I had, because as most of you know, I threw fucking up my knee coming off a horse, and a proper smashed up my knee really badly. My knee's fucked. I've had 3 surgeries on it now, and they've only been, I had like 2 arthroscopies on it. They go in with the camera and scrape it and wash it out and what have you. And the last time it was more in depth, but they wouldn't do. When did I have it done now? It's about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And I have been told that eventually I'm going to need a knee, what's it called, a knee replacement operation. But this is what makes me laugh. They won't give you a knee replacement surgery unless, like, it'd be different. Say I'd been in an accident and I completely shattered my knee beyond all repair, then I would get a knee replacement. However, for me to have a knee replacement to be able to function again like I used to do, they won't operate. That when the surgeon I saw him the last time, and he said, well, yeah, you're going to need a knee replacement at some point. He said, but we won't even consider it until you're well into your 50s. And I was like, hang on a minute. So I'm still wanting to compete on my horses, and I can't go running anymore like I used to do because my knee is knackered. The minute it starts to rain, I'm in agony with it. Brilliant. And you're telling me that you're not even going to consider giving me a kneecap till I'm well into my 50s, at which point I won't even be asked about wanting to go competing anymore or running anymore. I want to put my feet up and maybe do a bit of knitting. Just like, for God's sake. But I've heard that one of my old neighbours desperately needed a hip replacement, desperately. And she finally got it. And when she finally got it, she was 78 years old. And she'd been like that for nearly 20 years. She was in her late 50s when her hip went. And she had suffered for 20 years with it. It's just ridiculous. Oh, God, your legs were in stirrups as well. Oh, Frida. Oh, God, what's this? Oh, gosh, what's this, hippie chick? Let me have a look. Can't imagine, Sheila. I haven't got any near-death experiences or horrifying medical ones either. Although after I had my first, I lost a lot of blood, and excuse me, men, but they pressed a sanitizer between my legs. They came to examine me. The nurse guy whipped it away with a handful of hair, almost hit the ceiling. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Hippie chick, that's dreadful. I'm not laughing at you. I'm kind of laughing in shock. Jesus. Yeah, you consider too young. I know, but isn't it ridiculous, Simples? I mean, I know you can only have, isn't it? Can you only have it twice? The operation done twice on one knee, like because of the bone and what have you. They can only do it twice. So, and it has got a limited life, hasn't it? So I can kind of understand them waiting until you're older, but I don't want. I won't want to do the things I want to do now when I'm they decide to finally give me a knee replacement. So I'm just having to have apple cider vinegar and green lip mussel and heat pads on my knee and hope that it doesn't completely fuck up before they give me one. Cassie's, other words, you've got to take a hammer to it. For fuck's sake, you meant to stop everything. I know. Sheila, when I had my total hysterectomy up, it lasted 4 hours. I think it was more complicated than they thought because 30 centimetres. Oh, that happened to my friend Laura, that Sheila. On oxygen for 3 days after, the stats were very low. Hippie Chick's got vodka talking. Oh, Frida. And were you supposed to be unconscious, Frida? Sorry, because I think I've missed a little bit on the chat there. Yeah, she's a tad tipsy, Cassius. Sheila had a morphine pump, had to self-administer, but it made me very violent. Oh gosh. Well, they gave my friend Laura self-administering it, but they took it off her in the end because she was self-administering it a little bit more than she needed to, if you get me drift. She was and she was enjoying it. Symbols. When I had my meningioma removed, I came round from anaesthesia talking complete shite, even more than usual. Oh, Cassis is in with the typos. Excellent, eh? Yeah, well, simples. They gave me. I got me pelvis shattered. I got a double barrel kick to my pelvis off a horse. I was trying. Oh God. Trying to bring in 2 horses out the field, and there was a big old bastard of a horse that used to hog the gate. You know, it didn't like any other horses coming in before it. And I'd had a whip with me, and I got one horse through the gate, and I went to kind of shoo this horse away so I could get the other horse through. And it turned around. Now, it wasn't aiming at me. It was aiming at the horse I was trying to get out. But this was a great big heavy draft horse, and I got a double barrel kick to my pelvis, and it shattered my pelvis. And because of where I was, they couldn't get they did ring the ambulance, but they couldn't get the ambulance to me because it would have had to go down it was like a dirt track. Well, basically I was in a field, so it would have had to cross 3 bumpy fields and then down a dirt track for about 2.5, maybe just coming up to 2 miles. So we got they got the air ambulance instead, and they gave me ketamine. Apparently, I'm not allowed ketamine anymore. I was vile. I was threatening to fight everybody. I was insulting the nurses. I was insulting the doctor. So, yeah, me and ketamine, apparently, we're not allowed to meet anymore. But, yeah, apparently I was I was just awful. But it didn't, though, Cassius. Hiya, Leah. Oh, Leah, you're not blue, but I'll have to sort you out tomorrow's chicken because I'm only got on my phone tonight. I don't have my Oh, gosh, where's Sheila gone again? It sent me while that morphine, kicking and screaming, turned over the bedside cabinet. I was manic on it, so I refused it, told them I would rip it out if they didn't take the needle out. Oh, good God. Just had paracetamol after that. Because, frig's sake, all these horrific tales about medical procedures. Simples, what? They give you ketamine. Oh, grief. Yeah, but kids take it, don't they, Ket? I mean, don't get me wrong, I was feeling zero pain because when I got off the ketamine and they put me onto the morphine in the hospital, oh God, I felt it. But I mean, I knew that I'd shattered my pelvis because both my feet went kind of out to the side. You know, you get duck feet, don't you, when you've got a fractured pelvis? Yeah, that wasn't good. Hippie chick, I was given Ket once. I can't tell you guys what I did. Oh no, you can. Come on, share it. Hippie chick, share it. Oh, they pretend to have kidney stones just to get it. Oh, I don't ever want it again. It was like the one and only time. I know people always say, oh, I tried pot once and the fibbing. But I genuinely tried pot once. It was when I was at uni. I was at a party and we were in the halls of residence. I was at a party in there and there was a joint being passed around and they're all going, have a go, try it, try it, try. And I'm going, no, 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 try it, try it. All right, I'll try it. And I had a few drags on it, like a cigarette. Hated the taste of it, coughed my ring up, and then lay on the floor dying. So that was enough for me. So yeah, ketamine, no. Oh, you're in the middle of watching Jack the Ripper story. Oh, about Walter Sickert, or are you watching the? You see, the thing is, Leah, we covered Jack the Ripper on Bam's channel, so I didn't want to because we only did one, and then obviously Bam went poorly, didn't she, last year? So we haven't actually finished that, and I didn't want because I love Jack the Ripper, but I didn't want to do the Ripper murders because obviously that was Bam's thing. She wanted to cover that on her channel. So I went off to do my bit about Walter Sickert because I'm just fascinated. I'm obsessed with Jack the Ripper. So yeah, it's if you get a chance to have a look at the one I've uploaded with his paintings that just give you an idea what I'll talk about later on. That's quite interesting. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, Leah. Simple as we used to get the druggies in wanting cyclazine, anti-sickness, IV, because apparently it gives you a buzz. I've had it, did FA to you. Oh, did it not? No, I've never I think it was. I think what did me was having that one bad experience. Um, I was just about to answer you then, Leah. Walter's motives for killing the girls. No, I don't think when I'd said that there were 3 rippers, they weren't all murdering. And I don't think Walter Sickert actually murdered, but he was part of the group. He was the only one who knew what these women looked like. And he was a painter, don't forget. He had, you know, when they used to say that, you know, there were all these descriptions of Jack the Ripper where people would say, you know, he was seen in like a deerstalker hat and a cape, dressed as a gentleman, although, you know, like looking a bit like a gentleman that had fallen on hard times. And he was carrying what they thought was maybe a doctor's bag or some form of a parcel under his arm, you know, like rolled up. Well, is it beyond the realms of possibility that what Walter was actually carrying around were sketches or paintings wrapped up in oilskin, just so that he could try and identify these women or maybe show them to people? Have you seen this woman around? He definitely was identifying them. Definitely. Well, my opinion, he was definitely identifying them for Netley and for Sir William Gull. And that's what I think. Because obviously Walter was a gentleman, but he wasn't well off. He was trying to make his way. He was a struggling artist. He was ingratiating himself at the court, but he didn't have a lot of money. And what he did have, he frittered, you know, because it was the friends of, you know, lots of prostitutes and drunkards and thieves and, you know, vagabonds, really. But he liked mixing with them. So whatever money he had, it went out virtually straight away. So he wasn't particularly wealthy, but there were a few descriptions of, you know, men that some of these women were seen talking to, you know, having like blonde whiskers, and the description, especially with the height being around the 5'11" mark, did kind of tally with what Walter Sickert looked like at the time. Hippie chick, yes you can. Spill him. Spill your guts, tell us all. Done it again, haven't we? We've come in with a certain topic and gone off going on to everything else. Anyway, I shall just quickly bounce back. So what I know, Leah, it's awful. It's absolutely dreadful. I think the worst thing though was Mary Jane. What was done to her was just unbelievable. Unbelievably cruel, unbelievably savage. You know, and there are lots of differences of opinion about, you know, what was going through Jack's mind at the time when he was doing what he did to Mary Jane, and the fact that all the murders seemed to be escalating, didn't they? Which is what happens, you know, with serial killers. They do tend to escalate. And I know when we were talking on BAMS, and she was saying that, you know, that this was kind of like a sexually motivated murder, you know, with the very last murder with Mary Jane and the savagery that went on. Now, and I haven't trained in, you know, I've not done what BAM's done with a different a different qualifications and studies and what have you. I'm just a layperson who likes to read about Jack the Ripper, and if I go with my theory about Walter and Netley and Sir William Withy Gull, I think that last murder with Mary Jane was so savage because, you know, she was the one that had started it all, wasn't she? She was the one that had got everybody else involved. You know, when she ran off and went and hid in the East End and took up with the prostitutes. So, and I think it was just, you know, it was just rage. I think it was your little bitch and turn in his head at the time anyway. So that's just what I think. Hi, Brian, not the Messiah. How are you today? Are you a very naughty boy? What's Sheila saying? The nurses in the recovery room were laughing at me after I had my wisdom teeth removed, but they wouldn't tell me why. It was what I'd said. They just laughed and shook their heads, so it probably cuss words. Well, Sheila, have you never watched any of those videos on YouTube about people? But there are videos of people coming around after they've had wisdom tooth surgery, and they're being videoed by like the mums or the partners or what have you. And it's absolutely hilarious. The shite they come out with. So funny. You see, that'd be something Porky'd do to me. He would video me coming round talking absolute bollocks and put it on the internet. We're back again, flipping heck. Sorry about that. This is getting more frequent. Oh, Brian, you just stopped for a break in Fife. Oh, do you know, I used to take the mickey out my friend Mark, who lives over in Fife. Used to always say, rather be a lifer than a fifer. I'll tell you a funny story about him. I don't know if I've told my channel this before, but oh God, it cracked me up. So my friend Mark is a spark. Sorry, for the people in America, that's an electrician. And he used to work for quite a big company. And Gordon Brown, our ex-prime minister, he was a Labour prime minister, not particularly well liked in in the area he lives in. And my friend's company, the company he worked for rather, were tasked with doing renovations on Gordon Brown's house. And he said that when they left, they dug up, not dug up, they'd taken up the floorboards, you know, because they were checking the wiring and what have you underneath. And they popped a couple of turds under the floorboards before they sealed them up again and left the job. Oh God! Well, so much for me thinking that streaming from the conservatory would be a good option. Obviously not. Oh, Paul, you got gonna hit the sack, guys. Have a great rest of the evening. Oh, thanks for being in, Paul. It's lovely to see you as always. I will do the haunted one. I'm just trying to get a nice spot where I'm not going to keep losing flipping signal. He needs to sort this out, or we might need. I don't know. We might need to get another. What's it called? A thing, an internet thingy. One more hospital delivery, then home. Woohoo! It's a weekend. Oh, brilliant! Are you going down to Southern S, Brian? Do you know? I think that one of the neighbours is bumming into our bloody Wi-Fi because they keep getting into our Google. Oh, Brian, I'm so jealous. Is everywhere still well, hang on, we're only in September. When's it all shut? Is this the last weekend it's all out? Your Wi-Fi shit, is it, Cassius? Well, this shouldn't. Lady, now you have two of me. Aren't you the lucky one? Yeah, I'm wondering, Simples, because this shouldn't be happening. This is exactly why we're paying through the bleeding nose for this. I don't even know. Well, he came in the other night, didn't he? Saying, you know what we're on. Well, Cassius, we're on Virgin, and I'm not happy with it. Oh no, is it Virgin? Hang on. Who's the glass? Is it Sky Glass or Virgin Glass? But that's what we're on anyway. October the 32nd, Brian. Is that right? The 31st. Don't use a landline, it's cheaper than BT. Yeah. Sky. Yeah, well, that's who we're with then, Sheila, with Sky. You see, I'll tell you what I used to like, Brian. We'd go up for Halloween week. Well, we'd stay the week. We'd go up for Halloween. This is when my ex's family still had Hawthorne, you know, the cottage that's directly facing the lighthouse. And we'd go up and we'd have a week. So we'd have Halloween in the village. And then we'd always go out to Kipford for the fireworks, because they always do the fireworks right down on the beach. Do you ever go over to have a watch of that? Straight in front of the Anchor pub, over the little wall down on the mud flats. And one year they set the fireworks off and they hit the sheds. They had the shed there on the foreshore that actually had all the fireworks in. Pissing myself laughing. It was a real bodge job, but very funny. Virgin is the best Wi-Fi though, if cable is in your area. I'm not sure, Sheila. I know that we haven't got what's it called? The fibre optic. I know we don't have that here yet, but they've got what is it? It's something. Is it the 6G thing? He's got anyway. Whatever it is, as you can see, it's absolutely garbage, and it keeps knocking me off. Says, and I'll show you where I think my link is with past lives or with reincarnations. Oh gosh, there's a alarm going off in the street somewhere. Sorry about this. I'll have to wait till that stops, because that's really loud. Oh, give me a second, because it might be my car. I'll be back in a tick, guys. Yeah, I had fibre optic at the at my old house, Frida, and it was fine, wasn't it? I wasn't getting cut off there like I am here. That's why then Sky is shite for broadband compared to Virgin. We have no Virgin in our village either. Stuck with Sky. Yeah, flipping shite, innit? Absolutely shite. Right. I'll get back on. I'll get back onto the whole thing. So we've talked a little bit about near-death experiences, and some people, you know, what we think causes them, or why some people have them and some people don't. Now, I'm going to tell you my theory, because I do believe these people who, you know, mainly children with their stories of reincarnation. And I said a while ago that I think, now obviously not everybody, you know, if everybody was reincarnated, you know, we'd never get bloody anywhere, would we? But I personally think that when somebody dies like that, there is a moment. Now, whether you have to be at a certain level of, I don't know, development, shall we say, you're at a certain point, the universe has decided that you are at that particular point that you can be reincarnated. And I think those people are the ones who have the near-death experiences. And I'll tell you for why. Because I think that at the point of death, the soul, if you want to call it that, jumps into the body of a baby about to be born. That is what the bright light is that they see. And when people are brought back, obviously then that child is born and it's not got a reincarnated soul or whatever you want to call it inside it anymore. It's just a child. And that's why some of us don't have past life experiences and some of us do. And I do believe that they occur because that's what I think, Sheila. I think that's the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's the birth canal. I think that is, their soul has jumped into a baby about to be born, and they're going to begin their next journey of life. That's what I think. I think when babies are crying, when they are born, they are crying because they are leaving the ones they love behind. Absolutely. We don't know, do we? It's just a suggestion, but it's something that I've been toying with for a while. It's like, and I'll tell you what started me thinking this. Does anybody remember? I can't remember the little boy's name, but I'll give you a very brief go over of his story. It was the little boy who was uncontrollably. And then when he got older, and he was able to verbalize and actually tell his mum and dad what he was dreaming he was on fire. And then the older he got and the more he was able to identify and match things that he now was learning, what they were called and what they looked like, with things he was seeing in his dreams. And he was a pilot. He was a pilot in the Second World War, and he basically was shot down and burned to death in the plane. And this was I'll tell you differently in some other things in a second, but basically this was what he was seeing again and again and again. Now, eventually they managed to identify this guy, who he had been. And what seems to happen is with these children, once you've identified who they were in a previous life, and obviously these are only for people who've died relatively recently. We're not talking about people hundreds of years ago. But the moment, it's really weird, it's like the soul can actually rest, because the moment that you identify who they were and you make contact with either old friends, old family, relations, whatever, the child, then these memories start to ease off until the child can no longer remember them. Wicked Moon, say there are twins in their mummy's tummy waiting to be born. One twin says, I wonder if there's anything more to life than this. The other twin says, what more do you need? I've had food. Oh, hang on. Food, water, heat, love. What else is there? Then they are born and the new life starts again. Yeah? Yeah? And Sheila, yes, I've heard this story, and the one with the little in. That's right, Sheila. Well, with the little boy with the airplane, the American pilot, when he was able to tell people what he could see as he got to that stage where he could actually discuss his dreams in depth, he would say that he remembered the plane going down, the flames, his friend dying, he was trapped in the flames, and then he said, and then everything went black, and then there was this bright light, and then he was born. And that is what got me thinking, the bright light, and then you were born, then you came to your new mum, then you were born, bright light. And I thought, that's the bloody birth canal, isn't it? His soul has jumped into, now, that's not a near death, this is somebody who's died a long time ago. Maybe his soul has been floating around, waiting for the right body. I don't know. But that's what I definitely think near-death experiences are. That little Indian boy that Sheila just mentioned, that was one I was going to talk about as well, because he remembered his wife, and they were quite a distance away, weren't they, Sheila? And the thing is, with the Hindu religion, they do, it's Hindus and Buddhists, isn't it? And they do strongly believe in reincarnation. They don't ridicule people for thinking, sounds like a biological time tunnel where you describe it. It's weird, isn't it, Sheila? But see, I love discussing things like this, because you just have to keep thinking and throwing the thoughts around and discussing them and seeing what everybody thinks. And with the little Indian boy, he convinced his mum and dad to take him to this village, however many miles away it was, because his wife was there, and his family, I think he had children as well. Now, being from the background that these people were from, when they rocked up at the door of these, of this little boy's family from his previous life, because that was part of their belief system, they didn't go, "Are you sure?" It was like, "Welcome, come on in." He sat there with his wife. The wife, from the previous life, she was happy to sit there with this little boy, discussing her life. Unbelievable. But that's just to us, isn't it? It's because it's not something that we are brought up to believe in, whereas the people in India, yes, they are. The Hindus, Buddhists, they believe this type of thing, and so they're open. They're more open to these types of occurrences. Now, one of the other cases of reincarnation was a little boy from Glasgow. If any of you remember this, and this was in the early 2000s, I think it was. He was constantly talking to his mum about his other mummy. Oh, sorry, I'll just read Wiccan's comment. Said a similar story of an Egyptian princess in a previous life. She became an Egyptologist. Is she the one? I think Mr. Ballon has covered her, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure, because he did a story about somebody who remembered life as an Egyptian princess. If any of you follow, or maybe you don't follow Mr. Ballon, please give him a follow. He's a great channel, and he covers all like the weird and wonderful. He's great, and he covered a story like that. Yes, Sid, she discovered a forgotten garden and temple. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, Sid. Yeah, that's where you heard it. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, he's great, isn't he, Mr. Ballon? I think he's fabulous. He's a cracking storyteller. So yeah, the little boy in Scotland, for those of you who may not have heard about it, he was in, I'm sure it was Glasgow, or it might have been Edinburgh now. Somebody can correct me if you want to, but I've got Glasgow in my head. He was always referring to his mum and talking about his other mum, you know, I was with my other mum and then you're my mum now, but I miss my other mum. And he'd get upset and he'd cry about the fact that he missed his other mum. And person who was investigating past life and stories of reincarnation. And this guy had actually covered the story I've just discussed about the little guy in India. Not sure to her, but the kids are amazing when they talk about another life. I know, Cassius, and it's because they haven't been brainwashed into being, believing. It's like with ghosts, isn't it? Little kids see ghosts. They're not at the point now where we're like, you don't talk about ghosts because you'll just get looked at like a nut job. They're saying it with innocence. And so this little man, he was just getting so upset, breaking the mother's heart. So she said, we need to sort this out. And he started talking about he lived on an island when he was, before he was reincarnated. He lived on an island and he was describing cottages, people who lived there, a black and white dog. So they had this collie. And he described the fact that the airplane came from the mainland and it landed on the beach. So they managed to identify the island. I think, was it Barrow? I think it was Barrow, wasn't it? It was one of the Outer Hebrides, and they managed to identify the island. And they went out there, and then they found the cottage. They were filming all of this. They found the cottage, and then they identified the family that had it. And then as a result of that, they then went back to mainland Scotland because they'd found the family that had been there in, like, I think this happened in the 1940s, or sorry, the 1950s or 60s. And they found a relative of who this little boy had been in another life. And she was an old lady at this point, and she had a scrapbook, and she was showing photographs of the dog, the black and white dog, which was a border collie that he remembered, and the pathway down to the beach and the little gate from the back of the cottage. And once all this had happened, the memories started to fade. It's like they need to remember, they need to be acknowledged, and then they can carry on with their life in this life. They can forget about the previous life. I remember my little sister talking to my mum about her mummy. My mum said, me? My sister said, no, my other mummy. Oh my goodness. Well, you see, Frida, could that have been another occurrence of can have had a past life? You don't have to be reincarnated, but you can have had a past life. I'm still not sure what that thing was that happened to me in York. I don't think it was a past life. I think that was a genetic memory, that flash that happened to me, of only a matter of seconds. But I would love to be regressed. I would absolutely love it. Now, can I just ask, has anybody in chat actually gone through, has anybody had a past life regression? I'd be really interested to hear about that. I don't know if we've got a bit of a delay on here, but I shall carry on with the Y-File's a good channel. Oh heck! Oh yes, you told me about that, didn't you, Frida? Hecklefish. Oh, you believe you was a whaler. Is there any reason for that, Sid? You know, have you had thoughts about it, or have you had a regression? So I'll highlight you first. Wiccan, I was definitely Scottish in one life. I remembered it and dream of it from time to time. Do you? Well, do you remember there was that woman, wasn't there, who, and I think they were trying to debunk her. And this was relatively recently as well. I think this is only going back to like the 90s or something. And she remembered, hi, bedtime. How are you? Welcome in. We're just talking the weird and the wonderful. The lady was in England, but she had a memory of a past life in Southern Ireland. She remembered the house she lived in. She remembered that she had a huge family and remembered being ill and unable to get out of bed. She was obviously dying with what I think was possibly TB or pneumonia. And they went to try and debunk her and ended up proved everything that she was saying was accurate. She described the village. She described the road that led to this little cottage. It was amazing. On the beach collecting seaweed in big baskets with my big skirt hitched up at my hip, my feet in freezing cold seawater. Oh gosh, that sounds like one of the islands, that, Wiccan. Like you'd have been, you know, on like Harris or something. Aaron Harris. Sheila, no, went to see an hypnotist once, but nothing happened to me. But it was in a pub club. Think it was a gimmick. He must have had some friends planted in the audience to make it seem. Ah, right, okay. And Wiccan, you had very long, dark, curly hair. Oh, just to let you all know, Heart Christmas is now on Dab. Is it? Oh God, Christmas. Closest I can get was when I was watching Cleopatra with my mum. I was about 3. Looked at the screen and said, "Our queen doesn't look like that." Oh, do you know? And Frida's had plenty of deja vu moments. Now, you see, deja vu is a funny thing, isn't it? I heard somebody describing deja vu. They were saying that deja vu was actually a time slip. Because I've done it. I don't know about you guys. You probably have. You know, where I'll say like, let me have a think. Like I'll pick up a candle holder, and I'll think, hang on a minute, I did that 2 minutes ago, and I've got no memory of what I've done in between the last time I picked it up and this time I picked it up. That's probably not a great example. Or I can think I've met somebody before, I've been somewhere before, and I haven't. Well, the thing is, Wiccan, that's very similar to what Bam talks about, isn't it? Where she said she's got that memory where she thinks she's on a boat, you know, and they're actually going to raid somewhere. Frida, yes, me too. I get that often. Like, I know I've seen things before, I've been there before. Right, here's one I'm going to throw out to you. Have any of you ever done this? Because this happens to me all the time. Okay, you put your foot down a little bit too heavy on the old gas pedal. Deja vu usually correlates to dreams for bedtime clown. Okay, Brian, that's the drink. Right, so you imagine this, you're in your car, you've got your foot down a little bit too heavy. The speed limit's 30, but there's nobody around, so you do 50. And then you come, for some reason, you suddenly think, I better take my foot off this gas because there's going to be a cop around the corner. And as you come around the corner and you've just slowed down, there's a copper with a flipping speed radar gun. That happens to me all the time. And it's like I either know he's there Because this could be somewhere I've never driven before. It's like I know he's there, or somebody's told me he's there and they've made me slow down. We went to Glasgow. When Porky and I went in February, and I was really upset about that. Yeah, brakes get tap, tap, tapped and wicking all the time. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I tell you what, if I'd have got nabbed every time I've gone over the speed limit, they'd have made it. Me alone, I'd have paid for the flipping secret policeman's ball. Believe you me. Yeah, sixth sense when things happen like that. So what do you think? What is sixth sense though? You know, we take it that it's some form of, you know, sixth sense, deja vu, foresight. Well, yeah, I try not to speed now, Brian, but well, I can't round here. But when I wasn't living in a town, yes, I was a bugger for it. Cassis, get this: every speed camera in Edinburgh has got a sack over it saying out of order. I lost again. Right, back in the room. Let's see what we've got. Change the speed limit to 20, so they'll have to recalibrate. Oh, okay. Had a very bad reaction to the old Titanic black and white movie as a kid. Well, I have never been able to watch. Be honest. Or if I wasn't drowned for a witch, I reckon possibly I've, you know, a boat that's gone down in a war. I don't know. Bedtime, yes, it's cutting out. It's shit. I've tried to move areas in the house, and I'm not having any joy. Wickham, what was that? What was what chicken? Brian, you've run out of sacks. There used to be a speed camera near where I lived, and they used to give it. I mean, I hate the thought of it because of the connotations, but we used to call it the Soweto necklace because a farmer got done off this speed camera. It was very controversial where it was placed, and he got done off it, and he was so salty about it. He used to put tires round the. He'd come up at night behind the camera. He'd put tires round it and set fire to him. So every like Sunday morning, you'd get up and this speed camera had been burnt out, so they replaced it. And then the weekend after, there'd be another Soweto necklace on it. Hiya, Julia. Oh gosh, I wonder do you know, it was really funny this because I was looking at Porky's videos and I saw Lanx last and I'm thinking, I'm sure that looks like Julia's. I thought it was you. Do you know, you laugh because that used to be my this is really weird. This is a bit of a coincidence, seeing as how we were going to talk about coincidences. I used to be, when I first started on Twitter, I was Lanx Lass. How weird is that? But there were a lot of Lanx Lasses, so I did change my name. But yeah, that was my first one when I started Twitter all those years ago. There's a village in Fife, Culross, Witch's Grave, in the water with the graves, so that if they came, they woke up, or one of the coven brought them back to life, that they wouldn't be able to get out of the grave. The other memory I have is of Bunratty Castle way back. Oh, what's Bunratty Castle, Wiccan? Because as far as I know, primal instincts are something you pick up on without totally being aware of it. Right, okay, Frida. It's all I could think of for now. How come you changed it, Julia? We're just fancying a change. Sheila, get an Ethernet cable from Amazon Kiss, plug it into the back of your router, hardwire it instead of wireless Wi-Fi while you're streaming. Porky might get though because you have stronger connection. Yeah, well, I might have to ask him to do that. I mean, he is intending to do it anyway because he's just, oh God, he's just spent a fortune on a new computer to play his games on. Like, mega, mega, mega. It should have been, he got a little bit of money off it. Not a lot, but it should have been like £2,500. Or was it, or did he pay 2.5? No, I think he paid £2.5 for the computer. So he said, I can have his old one, which is still really good. So I've just got to wait for him to sort it out. And then hopefully I'll be hardwired. I won't have any of this dropping out and pissing you all off. Lots of Julias and other channels you go on. All right, I've got you now, Julia. You should go there for Halloween house where they kept witches. Everyone cries when they go into it. Do you know where I like going for Halloween? I want to try and drag Porky there though, but I need to check if it's on or not. Has anybody in Lancashire or Merseyside, or yeah, probably Lancashire, Merseyside, has anybody been to Farmageddon? Oh, thanks for that, Wickham Moon. I'll just highlight that. Farmageddon, which is it's like out Maghull way, and it was an old working farm, and basically they've done it up like last time I went, I think it was about 20 quid. Yeah, Southerners. It's about 20 quid a ticket, but there's all the different farm buildings are done out, and it's like as horror, and they've got actors in there. So they've got people who come chasing after you with chainsaws, and you're going through these rooms and people are jumping out on you. I was fine with all of those till I got to a bit where they were flipping clown on stilts. Oh my God. No, that one, it finished me off. That one did. But yeah, if anybody is near in that area, Lancashire, Merseyside, East Lancs, whatever, try and get down to Farmageddon if it's open, because it is really worth a trip. It's great. Well, Fright Fest. Oh, is that something else, Julia, or do you mean, is it a Fright Fest? Because it is a bloody Fright Fest, this one. It's a bit like that Passage de Terror at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, but it's 10 times worse. But it's really good. It's really, really good. I was impressed. I'd seen videos of it, but I'm really impressed with it. All right. Oh, okay. I'll have a look. I'll look into that one then, Julia, and have a look what it's all about. Yeah, because I've still got to give you a tinkle. Yeah, I've been up to my eyeballs in flipping work. I've had loads of deadlines that I need to get done for tomorrow. So I got a little bit sidetracked. So I do apologise. I will promise to get in touch with you over this weekend and we can try and sort something out, because we obviously don't want to do it when you're planning to go to the fireworks. And I'll sort out somebody having Cooper that night. But yeah, so I'll do that. I'll give you a shout. So we're not doing too bad with the peanut galleries dropped off, hasn't it? I think it's because we're actually talking about the stuff we always talk about, which is the good stuff. Now, oh, sorry, Kiss. I'm going to Scotland this weekend, unless you call. Oh no, don't worry then, Julia. I'll give you phone. God, we've got a month to sort it out, haven't we? It's not a problem at all. We're about. Is one on my bucket list. Oh, it's been doing this all night, Julia. In and out, shake it all about. Yeah, Charleville Castle, and oh, I'll tell you where I would love to go to. I don't know if anybody has the Ancient Ram Inn. Frida Kiss, good. Glad the and be be thirsty to be spoken about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Ancient Ram Inn, yeah, I do think it's one of the most haunted places in the world. However, I don't think I'd have the cojones to actually stay there, because they've got an incubus and a succubus there, and I don't know which I'd find worse, that one or the castle that shall not be named. But I really, really, really hope. Now, oh, hang on. I've got videos on YouTube of them castles. Yes, Lady Witch. In fact, there's been a lot of ghost hunts at a lot of these. Wiccan, have you got your? Well, it's up to you. I don't know if you're wanting people to, because obviously we've got peanut gallery knobheads, haven't we? But if you're not bothered and you want to share any of your from your other channel of the things that you've done, feel free to put them in the chat. But I'm not going to dox you if you don't want to. Oh, Frida, no. What would you not, if we were to head over to the south of Ireland, which we're gonna do, to go and meet up with Wiccan and do proper, would you not head down and meet up with us? Because there's safety in numbers, and I am a wimp. You could stay with me. You've got a lot to upload, but your net is crap at the moment. Don't worry about it. I just didn't want to give people your details, and and people try and do what they've done to your birthday. Do you know what? She even had some sad, greasy sweat hog, disliking a birthday video. For those of you who've come in and didn't know, it's Wiccan's birthday today. I have sung. She has got a video. It is quite insulting, but because she's me Bezzy, so I don't care. I'd go, but not in winter. You hibernate on cold nights. No, I seriously think. Do you know what? I bet we could get enough up Wiccan. You said, oh God, how many was it? About 16 or something, and hire that place for the 24 hours. I bet we could easily get enough people to do that. Yeah, Frida, I'd probably be in the car filming. Would let Wiccan go in with Porky. Sid'd come, wouldn't you? You went to all these places on Halloween. This crazy bitch has been to some of these places on her damn own. On her own, in the dark. You maniac. Yeah, I want to send Porky. Well, I mean, he's got everything. He's getting everything so sorted for when we come over to see you. It's oh God, he's dead excited. Saying what he's planning to do and how he's going to do it. Not like me. I'd have just gone gung ho and just rocked up with the camera, going, "All right, Julia, let's go and have a look for these ghosts." I think it's because, the dark is only scary because it's dark. That's all. I don't know. The dark is scary because of things that lurk in the shadows, as far as I'm concerned, Wiccan. And I know things lurk in the shadows. I think he might have got a thermal. Yes, Sheila, you can't see where spiders are. I'm one of these. I'll walk into a spider's web and turn into fucking Bruce Lee, karate chopping all over the place. And Michael Flatley at the same time. So I'm like Michael Flatley taking off Bruce Lee. There's things that lurk in the light too. Look, yeah, you're right, Wiccan. You're right. You're not afraid of being alone in the dark. You're afraid of not being alone in the dark. That is very true, Lady Witch. That needs to be highlighted. Says, me too, but I have some info for you all, which you might not have covered. Oh, no, when is this about ghosty hunting or UFO stuff, Julia? Yeah, Wiccan saying, do tell, do tell. Yes, Sid, she's right. She has it's ghost stuff. Oh, brilliant. When are you going away, Julia? Are you going tomorrow or Saturday? Because I'll tell you for why. Because I did promise that I was going to talk about ghosts and hauntings. I had a couple of stories. Oh, you're going tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Right. Well, whenever you're back, do you want to come up on panel? And you can tell it because I could do my haunted stories and link that in with you if you've got some good stuff. And is this your own experiences? Because I know you've told some of those bits. And the thing is, I would have asked you to come up tonight, but I'm having that much problem with the connection. I don't want to get you up and then people, it just cut out and nobody gets to hear what you've got to say, because that would be pretty shit. But if you're back, I don't know, maybe Monday or Tuesday, if you fancy it. Are you still drinking there, hippie chickie? No, around the area. I don't know if you've covered them. I've covered some of the like the Pendle Witch stuff. I'm trying to think what else I've covered in that area. There's one story. Well, obviously we're going to talk about Townley as well. I'm trying to think. I might not have, but I'm a bit worried. I'll tell you why I'm being a little bit cagey. Just because I don't want anybody pinching what we're going to discuss. So I can have a word with you actually when I speak to you on the phone. If I give you a tinkle next week, like Monday, Tuesday, something like that, have a little chat. And if it's not something I've already covered, if I do my live on with the haunted stories the day after or whenever, if you want to come up and you can tell them, how do you fancy that? Because it's yeah, stop, don't go further, they'll ruin it. Yeah, that's what I thought, Wiccan. But if I can speak to Julia privately, is that all right, chicken? Yeah, and then I'm going to get on to bloody Porky this week and see if he can set me up this computer. And then I've not got any of this because this cutting out thing is doing my head in. I mean, what I might do is no, I know yours is shit as well, Cassius. Right, well, we'll do that then. We'll save the haunted stuff for early next week. What I might do is come on tomorrow for a bit of giddiness. We might do another incognito. Oh yeah, we were all going to come on a Solange, weren't we? Were we going to have a Solange incognito night? Because what I could do is talk about that Australian dog man. Sid, did you watch it? Did you watch that about the dog man in Australia? Wiccan, isn't this awful? You can't talk freely because of idiots. Well, you know what? I should sing, shouldn't I? Oh, you're Solange, are you? You dreamt it. Well, we did. Were you? I don't know if you. I don't think you were here, Cassius. Were you? We were saying because everybody was being accused of being Solange. I said, well, why don't next time I do an incognito night, you can all come in as Solange. You know, I think I was going to be Solange shit in my street. Do you remember with Lulu when we blamed everything on Nicole Kessinger? She was like, NK shat in my street and blamed it on the dog. So we said we were going to have a Solange night. I've been busy today. I'll have a look tonight. Yeah, and if you watch it, it's one of those where you can listen to it. It's very interesting. But if you watch it, he actually shows there's video on there and there's still footage. So, oh, NK shatter my dog. It was so funny, wasn't it? It was so funny. I had, oh, do you know what, Wiccan? I'm gutted at because I can't play my song. It's on this phone, and if I try and play it, I'm going to cut myself off. Damn. I didn't think that out too well, did I? And I don't want to, I was going to say I'd do it ad lib, but I think because I'm in the conservatory, probably all the neighbours would hear me and think I've lost the plot. Oh, it was. Do you know that was one of the funniest things? Because weren't we? Wasn't it solving crimes with Fisher Price toys? Yeah, life would be a canter if you'd be a bit less of a wanker. No, well, my song was for the the peanuts who were telling all the lies and the gossip and making out everybody else is evil, but let's just be hypocrites. I made myself a song. It was because when Wiccan just said then, it's a shame because of everybody in the peanut gallery. I did a bit of a gospel tune that I intended to play every time anybody mentioned the peanut gallery. But I didn't put it on this phone, so I'll either have to ad-lib it or, oh, hang on, Wiccan, are you there still? I was going to say the only other option is getting Wiccan to hide herself, come up on panel, but just play it down the phone. In Shelville Castle, there's a good few staircases. This one staircase leads into the library. Oh yeah, you're here. All right. No, no, it was just I was wondering whether to try and ad-lib my song. When you mentioned the peanut gallery. Oh, I can hear movement upstairs. I think somebody is on the toilet because I'm right next to where the downspite is. The middle of typing that, do it. I think it's 7 seconds you're allowed to play. I may be wrong. Oh no, it's the thing is, Cassie, it's me singing. Oh yeah. Did Lady Witch know you've got 3 little kittens there? 3 little kittens and a puppy and her own dog with his cone of shame on. I tell you what though, Cassius, that song choice of yours was inspired. Inspired. Anyway, I've got to ask Julia, are you going to go doing any spooky visiting while you're up at Greenock? No, it was more than rather good. It was inspired. I actually cut that clip and sent it to Porky. He went, what are you trying to say? I went, you're a wanker. Suited him to a T. Well, no, I had another song. Oh, you see, Wiccan and I are very silly. When we're supposed to be working, we're mithering the shit out of each other, sending each other voice messages, and we make up poems and songs. And was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week, wasn't it? I was out walking the dog and I'm sending her songs and she's messaging me back, and all I can hear is this howling laughing. She can't breathe. She's nearly sick. She's telling me I've got to behave myself. Was it last week? And then she's sending me stuff. I have not laughed like that in forever. You went, oh, did you? Now, you see, I went to Rosslyn Chapel and I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, Julia, but it was how would I describe it? Not the feeling I got though wasn't the feeling I expected. I got a very eerie feeling. I got a feeling like I was being watched. There was nobody there, and I just got the feeling like something or somebody was watching me. How did you two feel, like Sid and Julia? I mean, it's an amazing place, absolutely amazing. Well, the thing is, Cassius, I think because of the film kind of built it all up, didn't they? No, I didn't. I just went to Rosslyn Chapel. It was just one of these things that when we were up there one year, and we said we were going to do a week of, we had specific places and we had limited time to visit. Yes, that was the thing, isn't it? Having somebody to talk you through it. At least you went there and experienced it. Yeah. Going to our haunted museum next month, a group of 5. So we will have time to explore alone. Oh, that sounds great, Lady Witch. Are you going to be filming anything? Could you upload it or something, share it with us? That would be really interesting. I like the story of the 2 pillars. Was that true? One by the master and one by the apprentice. Well, there you go. Juliet, yes, Cassius. I've got that flipping song in my head now of yours, Cassius. Be a bit less of a wanker. Oh, dear me. So funny, but inspired. So yeah, what do you think then, everyone? Female dogman spotted in Australia. I just want to scare the shit out of Green Eyes. If I can get my camera to work inside. I don't have much luck with that because my battery dies in minutes. Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because I mean, and that happened when we were out filming on Saturday for this documentary. The guy has never had an issue, never, with the drone, and just wasn't having any of it, because he was like, I don't know why this has happened. And it wasn't just him. One of the other guys who was filming, he had his tablet, and because he'd like, I was sitting down being filmed, the camera was facing me being filmed, and this guy had put his tablet down kind of at ground level, so there was a different angle at the same time. So they're obviously gonna cut in the different, the different angles and views and what have you. And he found out afterwards, at the same time they were trying to get the drone going, this had only picked up 2 minutes of the interview. Mary, it's in your hometown, Cassius, you ignoramus. Mary King's. He lives there, Julia. Yeah, that's where she's on about, Cassius. Julie went up there because I was saying to her, go to Mary King's Close and go to Nidri Street. And also, did you get to, because Greyfriars Cemetery is supposed to be quite haunted as well, isn't it? There's so much going on in Edinburgh, though. Now, go and have a wee. Just letting the dog go out. Go on, go and have a wee. Go on. He doesn't normally go outside, but I'm hoping that he actually will tonight. Because he was just scratching at the door, which he doesn't usually do either. It is a beautiful cemetery, isn't it, Cassius? So, so provided I'm not going to clash with anybody tomorrow. All right, get you now, slower than slow tonight. Cassius, you just make everybody chuckle. If it's not types with elbows, of an hour tour lasted 40 minutes, then nearly collapsed and got led out. What, in Mary? You're joking, in Mary King's Close? That's where I had that voice down my ear. Do you remember me telling you? That was horrid. That because a lot of these guys, you know, haven't. I know Cassius has. You are. There'll be a couple of others. I've been, but a lot of people won't have. You got loads of strange feelings. If you know, a lot of people have never experienced Mary King's Close or Nidri Street or anything like that, so I think they might. Well, I think they would find it very, very interesting. Yeah, I got all strange feelings the more they talked about death. It's what is it, Mr. Boots? The one that doesn't like women in there, I think. Can't remember if that was in Mary King's or if that was in Nidri Street. But that one that said my name down my ear, shit myself. That was really, really frightening. Just, you know, it's clear as a bell. And the fact that I kind of looked over, because I'm there thinking, you know, it's my mate, it's my mate. And I looked and she's like right round the other side. Nobody was behind me. So it's a very, very freaky place. I don't know, you know, Wiccan. If you haven't been, that is definitely somewhere for you to go to Mary King's Close. That's just, yeah, I can't even tell you. And I think it's because of the history of the place as well. Don't be mad at yourself. See, the thing is, the spirits in there, they're very unhappy and they're very angry. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are very, very angry, and because they're angry, they're, I suppose, is spiteful the right word to use? I'm not sure. I don't want to be disrespectful to the dead, but you know that they will make it impossible for certain people, such as yourself, sensitive people, to stick around. It's how they get the jollies. An old place, a lot of misery down that end. There is Cassius, you know, the lowest of the low were down there, and the same with Nidri Street. I mean, Nidri Street was just, you know, that was where the real bottom, the dregs of society, the lowest of the low, ended up in Nidri Street. At least Mary King's, yeah, that was miserable, but it had been a normal place for them to live, wasn't it? But it was, you know, they sealed it off because of the plague. They left everybody in there to die. So people did die miserably. But whereas Nidri Street, that was kind of an option, not a great option, but a lot of people who went to hide from the authorities, who couldn't afford to live above ground, who kind of lived on the fringes, they occupied Nidri Street. And there was murder, there was rape, there was robberies, beatings. It was a very, very violent and miserable place. Oh, you thought you'd wasted money. Oh, what was it really expensive now? I think last time I went, I paid about, I think it was about a tenner, I think. 10, 15 quid, something like that. What's this? Little Island, wakey, wakey, Cassius. What is my dog doing outside? Cooper, come on in here. Come on. I don't want him going through the bushes in the garden and there's some bloody great big hairy spiders living out there. Oh, they're massive. I nearly walked through one the other day. I saw it at the last minute. It was the massivest web and it was across the path going up to the back gate. If I'd have walked through that, I'd have just had a heart attack. I would not be here to chat to you all tonight. The Colgate, it's got a sign now saying Little Island at St. Aria Street. Oh, okay, Cassius, I'm with you now. I'm with you now. I'll be honest with you, I want to go back to York. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he'd feel about it. It's all right. You didn't butcher it, love. I know your elbows take some warming up when you're on them keys. Just don't be to ever don't. I'll just remember never to ask you to come down and do some grouting for us, because fuck knows what that'd turn up like. Your sunpaids felt guilty. They finished the tour, but I dragged them down there. Oh, well, if it's any consolation, Julia, I don't think it's that expensive. And you got most of it, didn't you? Did you say 40 minutes into an hour's tour? Spiders are going crazy this year. There seems to be a lot more creeping around than usual. They are, Sheila, and for anybody who wants to keep them out, get yourself some peppermint oil. Go down to the health food shop or wherever and get some essential oil, the peppermint oil, and put that little dabs of it round your window casings, anywhere where spiders either will lurk or they'll get in. They hate it. It don't kill them, they just don't like it. Because I tried the old thing with, people saying get conkers and it doesn't work. I found a fucking big spider sitting in a saucer full of conkers. So I thought, well, that's a load of shite. But they really do not like peppermint oil, peppermint and spearmint oil. So, especially if anybody's like me and terrified of the damn things. You've got me looking round in here now, Sheila. Frida, I like spantulas. Held a tarantula in my hand called Charlotte. She's very light on my hand and harmless. I'm so frightened of them, Frida. I can't even look at the damn things. Is it true that we've been asked not to kill any insects anymore? I've got no idea, Julia. I'll let anybody else if you want to answer that, because I don't know. Who do you think has asked? The government or Sheila? Oh, I have peppermint oil. I burn a lot of essential oils, not citrus though. Cats don't like citrus smells. No, peppermint is absolutely fine for other animals, but spiders hate it. Hate it. In my 2 houses ago, we had tons of ivy up the back of the house. It was bloody awful. So you can imagine what used to come in through the windows. And I had oil. I can't remember if it was like peppermint or spearmint, one or the other. I had it on round all the window casings. I had it round the door jambs. I had it round the fireplace. Stopped them coming in. Used to be afraid of them, but a few castles in and they don't bother me half as much. Oh no, they finished me off. Finish me off, Wiccan. Yeah, they do keep the fly populations down. Oh, Nature Watch. Oh, okay. That's it. Going to smear all around with peppermint. It's not so bad if you've got like another half who'll catch them for you, but when you're stuck on your own, can't imagine that would be a government request. No, I know, but our government's just bloody pots for rags. Sorry, that's my Irish nana's expression for being crackers. I do apologise there. Frida and Wiccan, do you use that? My nan used to say it all the time. Instead of saying somebody was a bit mental or daft, she'd go, oh, the pots for rags. I've got no idea what it means, but yeah, sorry, that one slipped out. Well, that's true, Lady Witch. They would have to stop spraying insecticides. And the companies wouldn't be very impressed with them with the loss of revenue, would they? Right, I've got no idea where this dog's gone. Oh, yes, I have. Cooper, come on, lad. Coops. For a treat. If you have got anything on you, like a spider, you're going living in the garden. Right, I've lied to him. I'm going to have to give him a treat now. Sorry about this, guys. Give us a sec. Because he wouldn't come in. Right, there you go. Right, job's a good one. Sorted the dog out. Let's see. Trying to keep the ecosystem going, I think. It's the hairs on the spider's feet. Oh, don't. Oh, I'm getting, oh, no. I've got goosebumps now. Oh, don't talk. And the 1,000 eyes. Well, I have got 1,000 eyes and I have got 6 hairy legs. Yeah, well, we definitely need to rope more of you buggers in when we go to the south of Ireland. And don't forget as well, we're also, just wait for the weather, it's going to have to be after Christmas when the weather's warmer, but I want to go back to York. Calling it Simples for a brew while we're up there. Daddy Longlegs season 2, you can't have doors, windows open because they're in and they always dive bomb me. Oh, I hate them as well, Sheila. Try to get some and then stand up like gangsters. Little monsters need cuddles. Oh, no, oh no. Ugh. I just don't, I just can't do spiders. I just can't. Sheila, I go to York at least 4 times a year. I love York. I do too. Do you go for the Jorvik Festival, Sheila? I meant to go this year and then didn't because we went for Valentine's. But I'll tell you what I did do. Have you been in the Valhalla bar? Because we went in there, did take some photographs, and we went in there, and yeah, we had a nice drink, but God, it was not a friendly place. Cassie, it's one of the few times I fainted in my life was when I tried to hold a tarantula. It didn't work out. No, I would be like that lady witch. No, I've been before though. It's very good but busy. Yeah, it's really, really good. Want to stay at York next year. Yeah, well, like I said, I want to go back again. You've not been in the bar. Sheila, it's a lovely bar. It's done, obviously, as the name kind of gives it away. It's like a Viking bar. I think they do food as well, but it's the only Viking bar in York. It's called Valhalla and it's brilliant. And the decor inside, it's amazing. They've got shields up. They've got kind of sheepskin throws and goat hair throws and it's sconces on the wall with lights in. It's really, really nice. But like I said, but we went in. It was, I think it was was it the Monday night or the Tuesday night? Might have been the Monday night. It just wasn't, the bar staff that were on kind of didn't really give a shit. And I've worked in a bar before, you know, and people come in, oh, yeah, how you doing? You're right. What can I get for you? Not a problem. You wait a minute there. How's that for you? Oh, thanks very much for your change. See you. Thank you. Not a problem. Give us a shout if you need anything else. That's me. These were just like, what? Like, okie dokie. They were really unfriendly. They didn't make us feel welcome at all. But we did drink mead in there. We didn't give a shit. We got pleasantly pissed because it was frigging freezing that night. It was the night we went and did the ghost walk. We did the tour. You know, the guy took us around York. It was really, really good. Don't drink alcohol. I'd go if I could have a meal though. Well, you see, there's me saying I don't drink, and then this bugger's got me on a slippery slope. But that was that was the night he said I was never. Do you remember he came in my chat and he was saying I was not allowed to drink alcohol ever again, and that was his fault because we had mead. He then got me I think I'd had a Bailey's, I had a whiskey, I had something else. By the time we got back to the place we were staying at, we went in next door to get something to eat. I was wankered. We then just went back because we were at the travel lodge. We went back into the travel lodge and ordered a pizza. And he said I would be asleep in my clothes before the pizza arrived. And he was right. And then he said I wasn't allowed. So I will. I'm gonna wind this up shortly because what are we on now? 2:30. You get handed an axe on your way in. One of their ones. Yeah, well, they should have given me a flaming axe because I'd have been swinging it, miserable buggers. I've got tomorrow is my last day. This is why I've been pretty quiet all week. I've got massive deadlines. Tomorrow's the last weekend. So what I might do then is if I wind this up very shortly, but if I come back, providing if nothing or Bam or anyone's on, then I'll postpone it again. But I'll plan to come on tomorrow night, go through that the Dogman stuff from Australia. And then obviously, as I said, we'll postpone the haunted stuff until next week when I can speak to Julia, and then we'll get Julia to come up and tell us some stories. And if you don't mind, Julia, would you mind telling people about your trip up to Edinburgh? You know, and what it was like down in Mary King's and Greyfriars Cemetery and what have you. Would that be something you could do? Sheila, good time, and I was just heading off to bed. Oh, not a problem, Sheila. Thank you for being here and sticking with it. It was just a little bit impromptu, but Green Eyes had next week. Whenever I can do it, whenever it suits you. I mean, tomorrow night we're going. I'll come live tomorrow, like this time. 8:30ish, 9 o'clock, something like that. But as you're away, but I will give you a call. Well, I'll send you a text message, maybe Monday, and see what time's best for me to give you a ring, and then we can sort something out for coming and getting you up on panel and telling us some stories. How's that sound? But yeah, I think tomorrow night, if I come on about 8:30ish, and I'll discuss that Dogman stuff. I may be able to. I have a few photos. If I send them, you can upload them. Oh, brilliant, Julia. That'll be great. What is this from Scotland? Oh, that's great. I just need to ask, Lady Witch, is that your eye? Battery nearly ready. So heading off, take care of it. Oh yeah, mine's just gone on to 18% hippie chick. So it's about time that I wound it up. Sheila, that sounds good. Julia always has some fascinating stories. I know. I was listening the other night, to when the sun came up. I was listening to it again. I'm just like getting back into the swing, getting ready for going over there to Burnley, and I was like, wow, yeah, you forget. Oh, it is a filter, right? Because don't forget his stories on here about the with the his abduction story, like the time lapse story that he had, or rather the missing time story. And I listened to it again, and I was like, yeah, it was really good. And do you know what else I noticed as well, Julia, and everybody else? When he was telling that story, I could hear I didn't notice it at the time, but I noticed it the other night. I can hear the fear in his voice. He's getting like breathless talking about it. And that got me again, because I thought, why didn't I not notice this at the time? And it made it, yeah, I kind of got a little bit more involved, because I know last time I muted myself, didn't I, just so that Declan could speak. Lisa Marie, thank you, Kiss. We'll look forward to the next live, and thank you for making me feel welcome. You and Bam are so welcoming and allow us to be ourselves. Oh, Lisa, thank you so much. But honestly, come on, you'll be blue next time as well. Like I said, I make everybody blue, but I can't do it on my phone. But it's lovely for you to be in here, sweetheart. Like I said, I'll come on tomorrow night. We'll do a bit of the dog, because you won't have heard our Dogman stuff, will you? That scares the bejesus out of Green Eyes. And but yeah, I'll be doing that, and then next week we'll do this ghosting, because Lanxlass here, Julia, we're going to do a ghost hunt with her towards the end of the month. but her son has had some, and Julia herself have had some very bizarre experiences, very bizarre. Her son had what we think was an alien abduction episode. But yeah, like you say there, he was nearly crying, Julia. He was. And I didn't notice that. And I felt so bad. Yeah, I always think when you come on, I want to go, here's the Presleys. Yeah, Julia, I felt so bad for him. So when you speak to him, please, please, can you tell him that I didn't notice until the other day how affected telling that story had made him. But I will, yeah, if anybody wants reminding of which of the lives it is on, just give me a shout and I can post the links with this and you can go back and listen to Julia and Declan. But yeah, looking forward to that. So on that note, so I'm sorry it's a shorter one than normal, guys and gals, but yeah, I've got loads of work to do in the morning. I'm going to have to be up at the crack of a sparrow's fart, and Porky's car's in the garage, so I've got to run him to work as well. He struggles a little bit remembering things emotionally as he ended in a mental hospital. I know, sweetheart, I know. It's so bad, and it's really brave of him coming up to talk, and we really appreciate it, Julia. Sid says, Lisa Marie, you should go back and listen to that live. It was scary stuff. It is. Kiss, chat, have a great night. Take care, everyone. Hippie chick, you have a blast. Absolutely, Cassius. Well, listen, everybody, I'm going to get off because I need my beauty sleep because I don't want to end up looking like a bush pig hippo. So I will see you all hopefully tomorrow if you can be here. If we're not on my live, if anybody else is live, we'll see you on that one. Otherwise, be here for 8:30, and it's Solange night. So come in whichever disguise of Solange you want to be. Right, everybody. So on that note, night night. Don't let the bed bugs bite, or the dog men for that matter. And see you all on the bright side. Oh, and Wickham Moon, goodbye and happy birthday.